Alright everybody, the timed phase earlier did go by pretty long there, so we were not able to put the resolution phase of round one here into that previous video. So that is what we are going to start with now, is on the resolution phase of the first turn, and we're going to get all the dice rolling out of the way and see how our various plans and strategies for the board here went. One thing I can say that I got coming up, I don't think I kept good numbers. I don't think I counted these 3 satellites when I put them down on the board. So we may be in for a bit of a surprise whenever the accounting phase comes up and we start figuring out how much money we actually blew through on this round. Let me see, is there anything else? I can't think of anything else I was wanting to talk about right at this moment. So if y'all will excuse the sound of the coffee brewing in the background, as I said before, I do play in my kitchen. So you probably got the coffee pot running, trickling in the background, but at least it's a newer coffee pot. It's not one of the old ones that, you know, after it wears out, it starts making whale song, you know, it starts going, meow, meow. Oh, the other thing I was going to talk about. You see the difference there where I was stopping and pausing and talking about everything going on out here and giving details and stuff, explanations. That, if you add up the time for the actual pause screen, for the actual timed screens and everything over here, when the game is running through the time phase, you would have seen the timed phase of this particular turn would have lasted just about 7 minutes. So all of that 45 minutes or 40 minutes of all gameplay there would have taken 7 minutes in an actual game with the timer going. Alright, so we are going to go into the resolution phase here and get started, and we will continue our turn on. Okay, we're going to go over here and start up the resolution phase. As you see the Sky Ranger heading out to take on its mission, and we will click on proceed now. Resolution phase. As you see, there are 14 parts of this particular resolution phase. The first one is going to be audit the budget. So for that, we count the satellite, soldiers, scientists, interceptors, everything on a board, and we spend 1 for the XCOM budget. Alright, so this is where I think we forgot to count something, so we are going to take a look. Coming out here, we've got 2, 4, 5 scientists. So see over here, this is where what we think we have spent. So we will take these 5, put them back over here in the bank. Okay, so that's the first 5 down. Now let's see, soldiers. We have got 6 soldiers. So let's take another 5 and move it over here. And then take 1 and move it over here. That takes care of the soldiers. Next up, we've got 3 satellites. I think this is where we screwed up. So we're going to come over here. Let's take 2, and then we'll take 1, and that takes care of our 3. And now let's count the interceptors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 interceptors. And we come over here, we have got 5. Yep, we forgot to count the satellite, so let's move that back over there. We have no more funds. We can't take any off the emergency assets. You can only do that whenever the app up there tells you to. So we have overspent by 2. Now this would have been a good time. We would have had, this shows you how we could have used stuff over here, like let's see, the right here, mission control. This would have been a good time to put a satellite down on mission control. Satellites over on the cards don't count. You don't have to spend any money for it. If we put that there, we could have moved a unit from the reserve to the board. That would have been the case when you go, oh my God, we're overspent. So we look here, we put that, and we go, okay, this interceptor is not defending anything. There are none in Europe, so we could take that away. So that's what we could have and possibly should have done. But unfortunately, that isn't going to be available because the time phase is over with and we're not playing with any mulligans here. Another thing that we could have done is, you see right there, we could have put a UFO there, we could have put a satellite there And that would have been a good thing to move. For instance, we got South America down here who's in the yellow. We could have moved that one to another location, like maybe moved it up there to Europe and let it fight. So that way there wouldn't have been a chance of a UFO being over South America and for the panic come up. So that shows you two instances where these kind of cards over here are good things to have. All right, if you remember, we did use the Sky Ranger here and remove the crisis card that increased the panic in South America by 1, so we know we're not going to have to deal with that one. So there you go. All right, so what does it say? If there is a deficit, increase the most panicked continent 1 space on the panic track for each unit not paid for. Okay, there we go. Well, we've got a choice here. Both Europe and South America are both panicked. Now we know that if we can complete this mission, we are going to decrease South America by 2. So let's go ahead and we're going to move it up 1, move it up 2, because of the fact that we went over budget. So that's why you want your commander to be a lot better than my commander is, and make sure that he's keeping an eye on the budget there. You don't want countries panicking because you're running out of money. Okay, let's take a look at the next step in the resolution phase here. All right, this phase is very simple. The resolution phase, it is if you have any money left over, which we didn't, at this point, we would either be buying a Sky Ranger or recruiting new soldiers. We thought we were going to be able to do that, but of course, we miscounted our money, so we're not going to be doing that. Let's look at the third phase. Resolve crises. So now we resolve each crisis card in the pool, starting with the top card and continuing downward. We follow in each one as we discard it. So let's come to the crisis pool. First up, destroy 1 interceptor. So we can do that. I will discard it and we will destroy the interceptor here at North America. So it goes into the recruitment pool. So now we are back down to the original number that we started with. That's the nice thing about having the air and space, is our ability to build a new interceptor every single turn, as long as we keep America in the yellow. Okay. Next one, discard 1 research tech. We chose this one intentionally because at this moment we have no research techs. We have not researched any. Our first 3 that we're working on are up there in the research labs. So this was a good choice and we will discard it. Next up, increase panic in Africa by 1. All right, we'll discard it. Africa is our lowest panic country. It goes up to the next bar. Not a bad resolution whatsoever, especially when you consider what happened over here to South America due to our lack of paying attention. And the other one, we don't discard it yet. Players cannot roll more than 3 times against each task. When you don't succeed against a task, you get to roll again. So we're going to put this one in the middle of the board to help remind us that we only have a max of 3 rolls against every task this time around. Okay, now let's go to the 4th part of the resolution phase. Resolve research. So we start with the tech card on the 1 space and continue to 2 and 3, and we're going to roll a die for every scientist assigned to it along with the alien die. Okay, so first up is the defense matrix right up there. Hovered over the board, we've got 1 scientist assigned to it. So what this means, as you see, and we need 1 success. That's what the number up there in the top means. So when you have 1 scientist, we're going to take the dice over here. 1 scientist gives us 1 die, and we roll the threat die. Okay? Now the threat die is right tied to the threat tracker. Threat tracker goes 1 to 5, and it starts out on a 1 up here. So what this means is we roll this blue die. Blue die has a success, 2 successes on it and 4 blank side. So we are wanting one of these successes to come up. The threat die, we roll along with it. This represents the alien threat. And if you roll, oops, knock that around. Goes here, doesn't it? Yep. If you roll the number on the threat tracker or lower, then you automatically fail. So we don't want to roll a 1 right now. So let's go ahead, give them a roll here. And remember, we're restrained to only 3 rolls this time. So, boom, we've got a success. It's higher than a 1. So we have successfully researched this tech. So we can take it back. This is the one where we can prevent a interceptor from being destroyed. It goes to the commander, which, you know, means goes over here on my side. But as you see, it's a resolution phase. So it goes to the commander, and the great thing about researching the techs is they are available immediately. So if we get a result with another interceptor being destroyed, we can tap it and keep that one from being destroyed. The tech becomes online instantly. So fantastic. Next up, we're going to resolve number 2. Number 2 is our interceptor repair. We need 2 successes, as you see in the top left, and we get 2 scientists. So we're going to get another blue die. We got 2 scientists rolling. Sorry, get my hand in front of the camera there. And let's roll the dice. Threat resets to a 1, or stays on a 1 in this case. All right, we've got 1 success, 1 miss. So we get a success token. That's what these are for. And you put it on the card. We've gotten 1 success so far. We need another one. However, that was our first roll. Now you get into kind of a push your luck. So at this point, the threat goes up to a 2. So you go, do you want to roll again? And now you got a 1 in 4 chance of having a loss, because now you've got to roll a 2 or less on the red, keep from rolling a 2 or less on the red die. So let us push our luck one more time here. And boom! All right, that's above a 2, so we're good. We got 2 successes. So we have researched this card. This will go back over here into the pile. Let's stop knocking South America around. And this one is a timed, goes to the chief scientist. If you put a research down during time, you can build a interceptor, and you can do this twice a round. Fantastic. So it will go over here onto our time cards. We may have to start moving things around as we get more techs, because they're going to start cramping into the board here. Fantastic. Now we're going to the 3rd lab. The tech reset threat resets back down to a 1 again, and we've got another 2 scientists researching it. So let's grab these. We're going to try the research again. This time we're going after UFO flight. Bam! And 2 successes. So right off the bat, we have researched it. Threat will stay on a 1. UFO flight. This is another resolution, goes to the commander. If we have during the resolution phase, if we have an interceptor, we can put it here and move any soldiers on a mission to the reserve instead of killing them. This is the one that we were wanting for whenever the combat with the soldiers comes up. So we now have this. Of course, we don't have any reserve interceptors. That's the problem. So, not so good. And we don't have, yeah, that was a time phase, so we can't really build any interceptors at this time. All right, but that was very successful. We have successfully knocked out all the research. Fantastic. Now, let's go on to the next part of the phase. The central officer now he rolls for orbital defense. So we are going to be looking at the orbit defense here. He rolls 1 die for every satellite assigned to the orbit along with the alien die. So we're going to have 3 blue dice this time. Give them a roll. We are trying to get 2 successes. Every success will take off a alien. We'll take off one of the UFOs. All right, we've got 1 success, so we managed to take 1 UFO away. Still got one in orbit. And the threat goes up to a 2. Okay, so now we go roll again. Now this time we definitely don't want to get a 2 on this dice. So let's see if we can get at least one success on these 3 dice without rolling a 2 or a 1. There we go. 2 more successes. Knocked off the other alien. No more UFOs in orbit. If we had failed and there had been left a UFO in orbit, we would have gone down here and picked one to panic in the lowest continent. So if we had, let's say we had blown it on the first and left 2 UFOs in orbit, we would have chose one of these and moved it up by 2, because that's how many we would have had in orbit. So you have the dual thing there. You don't want to increase the panic, and you also, as I said before, they start messing with your communication, so you don't want that to happen either. So the satellites are out of the way. We've gotten all the aliens knocked out of orbit. Let us go to the next phase. Whose turn is it now? The commander. The commander does the global defense. So for every continent, you're going to roll an XCOM die for the interceptor along with the alien die. And as you see, any continent that has a UFO remaining in it that we don't clear out, the panic goes up by 1. That's why it would have been nice to move that one off of South America there. But once again, that's the kind of stuff you learn as you go along. Okay, South America has 2 interceptors in it. So we are going to run 2 dice and the alien die. It's sitting on 2 up there, but it's on a 1 right now. I just don't feel like reaching across the board. So threat 1, anything but a 1 is good. 2 misses. All right. Now, threat goes to a 2. And we have succeeded. Boom. 2, and we take 1 off the board. Blam. Who else? Next up is Africa. Africa has 1, so we're going to roll 1 dice and the threat die. Reset the tracker to 1 up there. Miss. Tracker goes to a 2. And a success. So we're able to take that out of Africa. Next up, Asia. Asia has 1 as well. Reset the threat tracker to a 1. Boom, we got it. We're having some good rolls here. They're obviously setting us up for something. They're giving us a false sense of security that they wipe out our soldiers. Now, 1 more in Australia. Okay, that's a miss. Tracker goes to a 2. And a 4. So we take that one off Australia too. Fantastic. We have wiped every UFO off the board and have not taken a loss on our interceptors. Very good. We are having remarkable luck out here. Okay, let's go to the next phase. Resolve base defense. Okay, as you see, choose 1 enemy to attack. Assign 1 or more soldiers to skill icons on that enemy using soldiers with matching icons. Apply 1 damage to the base for every enemy in the base that is not killed. So, we are going over here. Let's see what we have first. We have got the Thin Man. The Thin Man has no special abilities, this one. He's only got 1 icon, so we're only going to be able to apply 1 to it. So we are going to apply the Heavy here. And you know a Heavy has a gold explosion. That has a gold explosion, so we get to roll 2 dice. It adds an extra die. If he was an Elite, we would add another extra die. So same as before. You roll them with the threat die as well. The threat resets to 1. And here we go. Boom! So we have taken out this Thin Man here. Put him back in. Put the soldier back in the base. He doesn't get used up or anything. He's still there to defend. The Thin Man gets flipped over like this. He is now salvage. Y'all remember in XCOM, the video game, whenever you killed aliens, you brought their bodies home, you brought their weapons home. It was used in research, and that's what this is. So we have got salvage now. And the salvage goes right down here, And the scientist gets to use the salvage. Every card that he burns of salvage, he gets to add 1 to the research rolls up here. So fantastic. All right, next up. So that was our first roll. The threat would go to a 2. I need to look in the rules right quick and see. I know on something, I know on missions, you don't reset the threat. So that was our first roll, so the threat goes to a 2. Now I need to see if you reset the threat or not. I don't think you do, but I want to be sure, so I'll be back in just a moment. And I was correct. On the base defense and on the missions up there, you do not reset the task. Do not reset the threat level in between. You know, on all our shooting down the UFOs with the interceptors, every time we move to a new continent, we reset that to a 1. In our research up here, every time we went from lab 1 to lab 2, we reset the threat to a 1. When we went to 2 to 3, we reset it to 1. In this case, the threat goes up to number 2, and we do not reset it. There are cards, there is tech that you can use. We need to research that tech that will allow you to diminish threat. So we can't do that right now. So we have got a threat of 2 going against this thin man. All right, we are definitely going to assign the heavy, and he'll take care of that. So that gives us 2 dice. And then we've got the support. In fact, we will throw the support man down here. So we get to roll 3 dice against the thin man. We only need 1 success, as you see in the top right. But if we kill him, we spawn a new enemy. So let's roll the 3 dice and see what we get. 3 dice and a threat. We're trying to make sure the threat die does not go to a 2. No successes, no failure, but no successes. All right, the threat now goes to a 3. Yeah, we need to do it. There's too many problems with losing base defense, so we need to push our luck here. Let's try it again. Do not want to roll a 3 or lower. Oh God. Alrighty. Well, we got the 1, which means it's a loss. First, you do the successes. So with 2 successes, we definitely destroyed the thin man there. So let's take him off the board, and he will go to salvage for our scientist. But we spawn a new one. I hate thin men. And what did we get? We got a chrysalid. Alright, the chrysalid will go there now. Because of that loss, both of these soldiers are killed. Let's see, do I have anything that can do it? If I had, you know, UFO flight, if I had a interceptor, I could put the interceptor there and move them into the reserve. However, I don't have any interceptors. I use them all up out here. So these 2, unfortunately, are killed on this mission, and they go into the reserve here. They'll be available for recruiting on future turns if I ever have a surplus again, but they can't be used anymore in this round. So we got the chrysalid. We still got 1 enemy in the base. And yep, the assault cannot be used against either one. Assault does not have assault, just has the assault and the explosion. Oh, okay, it does have an explosion. So good, we can use it against this. So we'll only get to roll 1 die. Thing is, the threat goes up to a 4 now. Because remember, you do not reset it while you're doing the base. So basically, we're at a 4 now. We got a 50-50 chance of that person dying as well. Do we want to go there? Or do we want to take the hit on the base? We're going to take the hit on the base. We got a 50-50 chance of this person dying. I am not going to attack this chrysalid. So at that point, he attacks our base. Boom. And we're going to put him in the discard. So I'm going to start a discard deck over here. And we will take 1 point of damage to our base. So we have 1 left at base defense. So boom. Gonna have to be careful about that, but I think at this early in the thing, we definitely want to keep. It's worth trading a point for the soldier. And as you saw, those damn thin men. There is a tech you can research that keeps the aliens from using their special abilities like that. So we are definitely going to want to research that tech as well. Okay, that is base defense. Let's go. Oh, base defense is over, so now we get to reset it back to a 1 again. Next phase. Was the base destroyed? No, it was not destroyed. It asked because if the base was destroyed, you'd automatically lose the game. Squad leader again. Now you have to resolve the mission. So let's see how this goes. I am going to take a look at the mission here. The first, we resolve the mission left to right. So first we've got an assault and a heavy. So the assault gets 2 dice because it's a gold and the assault is a gold. And then we'll put the heavy on it. So we're going to roll 3 dice against the first part of the mission here. First part of this alien abstraction or target extraction. Let's roll 3 dice. Boom, we have a success. We did not get a loss, so we success. 1 success is all you need on the ones on the card. So we are now going to move on to the Thin Man. The threat goes to a 2. You do not reset the threat on the card here. So the Thin Man. The Thin Man has the explosion. He only needs 1. Thankfully, he's not one of those that will respawn. So the heavy gets to roll 2 dice. So we're going to roll 2 dice with a threat of 2. So let's see what happens here. Crap. We didn't get any success against them, and we lost the soldier. So that soldier, that heavy, is now taken off the board, goes over here. He died on the mission. Alright, now we have to decide. We really need to take out that Thin Man. I'm going to assign the assault to him now. The threat goes to a 3. The assault gets to roll 1 die. This will be the second roll. Remember, we only get 3 rolls. This will be the second roll against the Thin Man here. Let's hope. Come on, give us a success and roll high. Woo! Alright, we took out the Thin Man. We didn't roll under a 3. She lived to see another day. The Thin Man goes into our salvage. We got 1 more die. Threat now goes to a 4. Threat goes up every single time. We've got 1 more. Threat is a 4. And we get 2 rolls against it. Do we want to go? Do we want to go? 50-50 chance of losing the soldiers there. We are going to wait. 50-50 is too high. So at this point, what happens is the mission stays where it is. The soldiers stay on the card. That will go over to the next turn now. We will keep them on the card there. And next time, we'll only have to fight this one. In fact, you can use this to block out the... use the successes to block out the ones that you're not doing. Now, when we get to the mission phase during the time, we'll draw the 2 cards again, and we'll decide we can use that. We can trade out missions next time if we get a mission we like better. But since this one we've already got it 2/3 complete and we've had losses on it, we'll probably keep this because I still like that decreased panic in South America by 2. That would be very nice to have. Okay, so once again, you don't have to push your luck. And we would only got 1 more roll anyway. Okay, so we've resolved the mission. Update the continent panic levels. Now at this point, we go there and we drag everybody up. South America is in the red. Everyone else is still in the yellow. This is going to decrease our funding. We are going to get less money from South America next time. Next up, did you complete a mission this round? Not complete. I don't know what a mail token is, so I'm really not sure what that is, so we don't have to worry about it. One of the things that it decides, why it's asking if you completed a mission, one of the ways it decides about the final mission over there on the objective card is by keeping track of how many missions you complete. The more successful you are, the closer you get to the end of the game. So, needless to say, we haven't really moved that much closer to the end of the game. Resolution phase. All exhausted cards are refreshed. We have one exhausted card here, so we will be able to use our air and space again next time. And I think that's the only one that we've exhausted. Yep, that's the only one that we've tapped. All tokens in reserve, but not on the board, are refreshed. We don't have any that need refreshing, so that's good. All discarded cards are placed on the bottom of the deck. So I'm going to take all these, put it on the bottom of the deck, the mission cards, and put it on the bottom of the deck. This one will come off the board now. So I'll get that done and then I'll rejoin you. Okay, we have gotten rid of, made and tucked everything away into discard decks. Let's go to the next step. Return units to the reserve. All the units assigned to a task are placed on a card or returned to the reserve except for soldiers assigned to a mission. So the soldier, the one we've got, the two that we have on the mission are going to stay there. The one that's in the base, it comes back into our reserve. So we've got an assault back here. And then we've got these two who are on the Sky Ranger. So we've got a support and we've got a sniper. So as you see, our numbers have decreased a little bit. We are down to 3, 4, 5. We have lost almost half the soldiers. We have no heavies left anymore. We have 2 assaults, 2 snipers, and 1 support, counting the ones that are still in that mission over there. So not good. Okay. Next up, any cards that are on... We didn't spend any... satellites out here. We didn't spend any research, so these satellites come back into our reserve, and then we will gather up all the research, bring all the scientists back home, let them get back in their bunks, and they go back over here to the science card. So we've taken care of that. Next up, how many UFOs are in orbit? 0. That tells it how much to mess. If we had 5 UFOs in orbit, we would be getting a lot of crap, but 0 UFOs. Next, and we're going to go into the second time phase. All right, so that's the resolution phase. You see it goes by, lots of dice rolling. Love it, lots of dice chucking. Oh, sorry, I need to bring all these home too. Let's bring all our interceptors back. And we are definitely going to use our abilities to move stuff around to do better with our interceptors. We'll also keep a closer eye on our budget next round as well, and see how it goes. And we're going to try to see if we can get some money to recruit some more soldiers. We are running desperately thin of boots on the ground here. There you go. That was the first round completed now. We will start round 2, and I will see you whenever we do that. That'll be next episode. Bye-bye.